saying on this program and really in life, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. Well, I got a little bit of a twist on that one today. Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. What they say is the payroll will be at $100 million by season's end. We'll see about that. What they say is that their main move of the offseason will come at some point between now and opening day. We'll see about that. What they don't say is that Tommy Pham will be a starting corner outfielder for this team. And yet, in some ways, they are kind of saying it. I was there last week when Ben Cherington was talking about the move of Brian Reynolds from left to right. Never really brought up Pham in that context, but then Derek Shelton did and said that he felt Reynolds moving to right was something that was going to be good for Reynolds' health and his durability and everything else, while also saying that he felt Pham could handle left. And after that, Pham himself, in speaking of what he needs to do better in his age 37 season, really focused on defense, just focused on how he could be better out in the field. Now, go right ahead and take 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, and what you have here is not a shot or a dig at Pham. He is who he is. It's not his fault that this team would go and get him and put him into this kind of a prominent role. But rather, it's to consider to what extremes this general manager, specifically just Cherington, has really obsessed with defense versus offense. Remember, this is a man of the metrics here. This is an executive who can't add enough analytics people. He has analytics departments annexed to analytics departments. There's an army of these people who swarm even now, Pirate City. Like, what are they doing down there other than enjoying the sun? What do you need them for? And oh, by the way, can any one of them show him any of the voluminous evidence that exists regarding the value of offense in baseball versus defense when assessing positional player value? Here's my brief summation. It ain't close. A player who can hit is worth infinitely more than a player who can make even the greatest plays in the field. I can also condense that to a single individual and ask you if Ke'Bryan Hayes is undoubtedly, undeniably the most valuable third baseman in all of baseball. He's not. He's not. So why is it that time and time and time again, and really there are just too many exhibits to even start listing them, Cherington has chosen defense over offense? Is it to, I don't know, if there's some kind of broader concept that, well, we have this potentially great starting rotation, so we're going to do everything that we can to support those guys. You know what the best way is to support those guys? That's right, pal. Score some runs. Ask Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller, Jared Jones, or anybody else who's ever stepped onto a mound for the beginning of a game which one they'd rather have, all the plays being made behind them or a bunch of runs being scored for them. And yet, here we are again. Here we are again. Real bats, productive bats, a bat that you could have hidden, theoretically, into a corner outfield spot, even if they weren't great defensively, were bypassed this offseason. You can say, and I can say, and we've all said, that it's just because they're cheap. Well, they are cheap, but there were other players available at Pham's price, which was 1 year, $4 million and change, who could have been more productive at the plate. Why weren't they brought here? And why don't they, this one is plural, meaning Cherington or Shelton or anybody really involved in baseball ops, ever prioritize offense the way they do Let's say, for example, versatility. They preach it all the time. Oh, so-and-so has so many different positions they play. That's just a manager's dream. You know what else should be a manager's dream? How about a lineup that can hit and that doesn't need to be so interchangeable? How about a lineup of a bunch of Reynolds types? Just once, you'd like to see that prioritized. I'm trying to think of a counter example here, just to kind of throw it into my own face here. And the only one that comes to mind is the drafting of Nick Gonzalez. And maybe somebody else can come up with some others, but Gonzalez was known to be, or at least thought of at the time as being the best bat or the best college bat available in that class. And it also had been kind of accepted that he wasn't going to be some sort of defensive stalwart. He was listed as a shortstop. They knew he'd move to second. I don't think they knew that he was going to be getting a ton better at second. I think he's been fine, but that was made for a bat. Termar Johnson, Connor Griffin, we'll see. But when it comes to external moves, when it comes to acquiring somebody from somewhere else, where is it? Where is it? When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Derek, who asks, hey DK, just a thought here. I feel as Pirates GM, I would be tempted to spend on one or two somewhat exciting free agents a year. Even if you don't see them as long-term pieces, you could flip them for prospects or cash considerations at the deadline. If they were instrumental to the success of the given year, then you keep them and make that run. If not, sell them and get some more prospects to improve the system. I feel that spending at least a little in free agency, like Aroldis Chapman, on a quality piece or two can be a way to actually help a young team in the Pirates' current situation. And I'm wondering if there are more rewards to free agency spending than what the Pirates management sees. They seem so worried about overspending a little in the market to get some quality chips, even though we're still talking about 1 or 2 year contracts. Am I making sense? Oh, yeah, Derek, you are. And what you're doing, whether it's unwitting or whatever, is supporting a stance that I've had forever, which is, yes, Bob Nutting and the Pirates are cheap. And yes, within that, the reason that you never see moves like this being made is that Nutting himself, this one's just on him, is risk averse. He doesn't want to allow for a payroll above a certain level under any circumstances. Because, I don't know, meteor strike or something. This is who he is, not just as a sports owner, not just as a businessman, but in life. He does not take chances. He sees that as prudent and responsible. We see it as all of the other nasty adjectives that I've already put forth. So yeah, Aroldis is the name that's in there, and that makes more sense than anything. You can get him. You get him at $10 million, like the Pirates did last year. Actually, it was $10.5 million. You get some mileage out of him. You see if he can help you get to the playoffs. If he can't, and remember that all happened after the deadline, the big collapse. You move him somewhere else for some real pieces and parts. And in the process, if money's your chief concern, you also save the prorated remainder of his salary. Seems kind of logical. Seems like something you would do even if you were the cheapest person in the world. But you wouldn't do it if you're risk averse. I'm going to repeat this one until I am a Clint Hurdle level of purple in the face, and I really hope this one gets absorbed when I say it. In Nutting's tenure as controlling owner that began in 2007, in all of the years since then, the 3 years in which he had the biggest profit, not just the biggest revenues, but the biggest operating income, the biggest amount of money that you could just theoretically stuff into your pocket. The 3 biggest profitable years were the 3 years that the Pirates made the playoffs, 2013 to 15. You would think that alone would sell him on the idea that, hey, maybe take a chance here or there. All 3 of those payrolls were right at around $100 million. Maybe if you're at $100 million again, you can get to the playoffs again and make even more money. Why would that not penetrate? I appreciate the question. It was outstanding. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.